So it's my pleasure to introduce Henry J. Parada. Henry is a contemporary artist. His work is focused on geometric art. He uses different materials and degradation of the color to achieve tri-dimensional effects and movement. So welcome. Thank you for doing this. I'm very excited to hear more about your work. Starting with Henry, would you please tell me about that sentence that I just read? I think that's a good place to start. You know, he uses different materials and degradation of the color to achieve tri-dimensional effects.
Para poder tener los tres dimensiones.
Okay. Good morning, welcome bienvenidos todos.
Welcome everybody. I'm translating for Henry today.
Okay. No, ahí uso la técnica de colocar materiales perpendiculares al plano para que se cree sensación de movimiento a medida que no se mueve.
So he uses a lot of the use of perpendicular planes to create a sense of depth in a lot of his paintings to be able to create that 3D effect.
Got it, got it. And I noticed they're very, very detailed images. That must be really challenging to work in that way. What are can you describe your process for making those images?
Primero que nada, yo tengo buena idea mental tridimensional por mi carrera científica.
So first of all, he has a very good imagination due to his previous line of work, which was as a chemist. So he starts with his ideas in an abstract way because of what he sees on his chemistry mind, I guess.
Después de que ya yo tengo la idea,
Secondly,
con la ayuda de la tecnología que hay hoy en día,
with the help of the technology that we have nowadays,
puedo transformar mi idea en un computador.
So he can transform those ideas in a computer system
Porque necesito usar la tecnología para poder cortar las piezas con las pequeñas diferencias en tamaño que ellas tienen.
So he uses the technology be able to achieve different cuts in pieces that he later use to create those three-dimensional effects. So he uses a lot of technology like CNC machine to be able to do very intricate cuts, meticulous cuts, to be able to create the artwork that you see right behind some other areas of the studio.
Después de eso, las piezas tienen que ser pulidas, pintadas, volver a pulir, volver a pintar.
He has to smooth all those pieces, paint them, smooth them again, paint them again.
Y después de que ya yo he pintado mi soporte, la base, donde
paint the support that is going to hold these pieces.
Entonces comienza el proceso de colocar cada una de las piezas en el soporte.
And then is the tedious and very labor-intensive process to piece by piece being stuck or glue or adhere to the pieces that we see on his work. So very labor-intensive. And after he has done that,
por esa razón, antes de continuar, por esa razón yo desarrollo varios proyectos al mismo tiempo de manera de tener mayor productividad.
So with that process being so labor intensive, what ended up happening in this process is that he's working at several pieces at the same time so he can be more productive with his work. So when some pieces are being cut and some other pieces are dry, and then he's working on painting some other pieces that are already being cut and they're ready to be primed for paint while the other pieces might be drying on an art piece.
Y porque cada pieza necesita más de una hora mínimo de secado. Las primeras necesitan 24 horas para...
Some pieces need from an hour, some other ones will need up to 24 hours to dry. So he's working on different pieces at the same time.
Después de eso viene, después de que ya está completado el proyecto, entonces viene la parte de la fotografía.
So,
Es muy compleja, ha sido muy compleja.
So after the piece has been completed, the next step will be to photograph the work, which also tends to be very difficult in order to be able to showcase the real form, I guess.
Por esas razones estoy trabajando, o sea, voy a comenzar a desarrollar un proyecto para poder tomar las fotos desde diferentes ángulos para al mismo tiempo para que me cree una imagen tridimensional cuando se toman las fotografías de frente.
So now he's starting to search and research to probably take pictures from different angles at the same time and combine it into one to create more of a 3D effect, especially when a lot of photography is only 2D. He wants to be able to convey also on his work through the photography and the recording of it, the 3D portion.
Y la última parte es el marketing, el mercadeo, que es lo que estoy
the marketing, which is what he's working on.
Que es muy importante.
That is also very important.
Y que estoy tratando de comenzar a hacer ahora.
And he's working right now to get going.
Of course, yeah. So that's the challenge always, right? To find that time it's so intense, it sounds like, the process of making your work. How many hours, you know, total on average does it take to make one piece?
Probablemente mínimo 120 horas.
It says minimum 120 hours.
Wow, incredible. So given this intense process that you're working within, what motivates you? You know, what drives you to make this work?
Bueno, yo primero que nada, yo tengo dos motivaciones, la motivación externa y la motivación interna.
He has an internal and external motivation.
La motivación interna es que tengo una gran pasión por lo que yo hago.
So the internal motivation is that he's very passionate about what he does.
La motivación externa, la segunda, es el visto bueno que tengo de las personas que son artistas y del público en general que ve mi trabajo.
So the external motivation will be the recognition and the acceptance also on the peers and the art community and the public as well of his work. So those are the main two things that are driving him.
Porque no he tenido un estudio formal en una academia o en una universidad en arte. Como mi formación es científica, sí he sabido cómo buscar la información para tener todos los conocimientos que pueda necesitar.
So he says that although he doesn't have any real formal education in art or over an art academy, that his background in chemistry has helped him figure it out process and learning on how to develop his techniques in order to produce his artwork.
We don't have much time, but can you just, like, in a minute or less, just describe just one example of how chemistry has helped you, you know, make this work?
Muy fácil. Cuando uno ve una reacción química, uno tiene que imaginarse tridimensionalmente cómo las moléculas se van moviendo y los enlaces para formar los nuevos compuestos.
So he says, very simple. In a chemical reaction, you have a lot of molecules that are always merging and changing, and that happens on an abstract and 3D way. And that's basically how he has come and be able to use chemistry to do the geometric scenes and colors.
So interesting, so fascinating. So just one last question. How can people find you? Where can they find your work? And do you have any shows coming up?
I'll help answer that question. So, okay. So to look for his work, you can find him on Instagram at Art Parada. That's ARTPARADA on Instagram. We'll have a live show today between 1 and 4, so for people to come and join us. On Facebook under Henry Parada, and if you see the whole spectrum of all his work, you can also check it at www.henryparada, that's HenryParada.com. So for more information on pieces.
Great. Well, your work is extraordinary. It's very, very beautiful. It was a pleasure talking with you today, and I hope that I get to meet you someday soon.
Oh, thank you, Shelly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.